Hi, everyone. In today's episode of Becca Breaks It Down, we're going to take a look at undefined terms. Now, as you know, a definition is a statement that clarifies or explains the meaning of a word or phrase. Well, in geometry, in order to define point, line, and plane, you must use words or phrases that themselves need definition or further explanation. So early mathematicians were frustrated when it came to defining the terms point, line, and plane. So to this day, these terms remain undefined. So instead, in order for us to gain an understanding of point, line, and plane, we offer general descriptions of them. So to start with, we have a point. And a point is a specific location. It has no dimension and is represented by a dot. And we use capital letters to name points. Here we have point A, and we're simply using a capital A to name it. Our second undefined term is line. A line is made up of points, an infinite number of points, and it's straight. It has no thickness and continues forever in both directions. If you look at the diagram on the right, notice that there are arrows at both ends of the line, and those arrows are showing that they continue forever in both directions. Now, we can name a line in terms of any 2 points on it or with a single letter. Once again, if you look at the diagram on the right, they're saying that we can call this line L. Notice that the L is lowercase and usually scripted. Oops, that's supposed to be, not right. It's lowercase and it's usually scripted when you see a diagram. But I can call it line L. I would just have to actually use the word line. Otherwise, I can use any 2 points that are currently on the line. And right now there are only 2 points, A and B. So I can call it line AB and I can write AB. And notice there's a symbol on top of those 2 letters, and that is just a small line. I can also call it line BA. So there are 2 different names. Well, I wouldn't even say they're different, but there are 2 ways that I can name that line using those 2 points. Another vocabulary term that we'll just throw in here right now is collinear. The prefix co means together, and then linear, you see the word line there. So we're talking about together on the same line. So anytime you have points that lie on the same line, this is called collinear. Now on this page, I just have some more examples of lines and how we can name them. I would like to look at the middle example because here I have a line and they have identified 3 specific points on this line. There are still infinitely many points on the line. They just named 3 of them for us. And so I can use any 2 of those points to name this line, which is why they came up with 6 possibilities for this line. But notice they're only using 2 points. And also notice that the little line symbol is directly above those 2 points. Because without that little line symbol, I wouldn't know that you're talking about a line. Our third undefined term is plane. And a plane is a flat surface that has no thickness and extends forever. So one thing we have to understand in geometry is that our diagrams are like a snapshot. Because if planes extend forever, it really would be impossible for me to demonstrate what a plane looks like for you. But instead, here I have a little snapshot. So they're calling this plane M, or I can call it plane ABC. Now, notice where the M is located in the diagram. It's kind of written in a corner. It doesn't have a point next to it. And so that means I can use that single letter to name this plane. It's kind of like if they give me that single letter for the line, but it's not like indicated as a point, I can use that single letter. It's usually a lowercase one for lines to name that line. Whereas for planes, it's usually an uppercase letter and it's usually in the corner of the plane. And a lot of times it's scripted. So just something to pay attention to. But with planes, when it comes to naming planes, a plane may be named using any three non-collinear points. So remember, collinear is together on the same line. So non-collinear would mean all 3 points can't be on the same line. So if you notice in our diagram here, A, B, and C, I cannot connect all 3 of those with one line. So they are non-collinear. So I can use those 3 points to name my plane. I can also put them in any order. So a couple of other things about planes. There are 4 ways a plane can be determined. I mean, if you think of a table, some tables have legs. Well, only 3 legs are really necessary to make a table. Okay, so if you have 3 non-collinear points, you can create a plane. Now I've seen a variety of tables. So I've seen tables that maybe are kind of fancy in how they're constructed. So maybe you have a situation where you have like a linear piece of support and a leg. So basically, if you have a line and a point not on that line, you're going to get a plane. You can have like 2 intersecting like linear pieces of wood or supports. Like sometimes you'll see coffee tables like that. And so those 2 intersecting lines will also determine a plane, or you can have 2 parallel lines. Okay. Oh, and there we have it. Those are our undefined terms in geometry: point, line, and plane.